Well, hello, my beautiful Pisces. This is going to be your astrological forecast for the end of July and through August. I'm going to go through August. That's why I made, as you can tell, you see the tarot isn't on here. So I made another tarot video for you guys where I did a full spread. I unfortunately won't be able to do that every month, but I will be able to do that. I'm going to do like the regular 4 card spread next month. And then if you want the extended version, you can buy that on my website. That'll be for download. So, my gorgeous Pisceans, what is going on? We had this partial solar eclipse, and the partial solar eclipse had to do with bringing you sort of clues or maybe news or something about what's really going to be going on with that solar eclipse, the full solar eclipse in August. So we're going to talk about the eclipses. We're going to talk about what a lunar eclipse and a solar eclipse is. We're going to talk about the retrogrades that are happening. We're going to be talking about North Node and the South Node and how that's going to affect you. These full moons. Yeah, so that's what we're going to be talking about. So let's talk about these eclipses. So eclipses, what are they? Eclipses are they have to do with your soul's journey. They have to do with your higher self, being divinely guided. This thing that you came here to do. So, with eclipses, these karmic events can happen, right? And so, the reason that this is happening is because this is like to get you on the direction of. There are points in your life that these things, like these major things that you want to experience, right? So no matter which way you go, which direction, which decisions you make, there are these things that you're definitely going to experience what you came here to do, right? So what we call what you came here to do. So these eclipses are attached to that, and they sort of give us a clue about where that can be and what that's going to be about, right? And so with the lunar eclipse coming up on the 27th, uh, the lunar eclipse has to do with teaching us about detachment, teaching us about letting go of what no longer serves us, right? And so, with a lunar eclipse, we could be experiencing letting go of something or someone. But because the North Node or the South Node is involved in this, because the nodes are involved in this, this has to also do with this particular one, has to do with being able to complete and end old karma. Complete these contracts. You're done with these things. These things are completed from your past lives, from, if you don't believe in past lives, from your childhood, these things that maybe you've been carrying on with. And so with this eclipse, this lunar eclipse that's coming, you have this chance to end or complete some old karma in these phases that you've been in these cycles that you've been in for many lifetimes, right? You can end this now. So, lunar eclipses are about completions. They're about letting go. They're about ending old karma. And because we have Mars and it being retrograde and all that, you could have this come about through some chaos or some transformation of some sort, right? So let's talk about the solar eclipse. So the solar eclipses, so where lunar eclipses take from us or help us to let go, right? Solar eclipses are about giving us something, and so the solar eclipse is about giving us something. This is so we can grow and fulfill this experience that we want to fulfill. These desires, this thing that speaks in our heart, this thing that never goes away that we really need to fulfill, right? We just feel like it won't go away. This, whatever this is, it's going to be bringing you. It does this so that you can fulfill and experience these certain desires on your life path, right? So that's what the solar eclipse is about. So it can bring it to you with new beginnings, with transformation of some sort, but it's going to be giving you something, right? Now, with the North Node being involved with the solar eclipse, it's going to be giving you through, again, a crisis or a transformation or some chaos around it, right? And so both the lunar eclipse and the solar eclipse have this on it because we have the nodes attached to them, right? So where's that happening for you guys? So on the 27th, let's look at the 27th. So on the 27th, here's you, Pisces. We have the lunar eclipse in Aqua. So we have it in Aquarius. This is your 12th house. Now, listen. This 12th house is all about completions, right? The 12th house is all about the hidden coming to light. The 12th house is all about bringing hidden enemies to the surface. It's all about working alone in deep research. It's all about endings and completions and fate and destiny, right? And some deep, deep issues that can come up. So with this lunar eclipse, it being activated in your 12th house, you have some completions coming. You have some endings coming. You have some old karma you need to let go of. It's time to stop recycling this. You've already mastered this. Some of you are doing this stuff because it's a habit, right? When you come in this life, you're used to doing it this way, and it's time for you to grow into this new way, right? And so on the 27th, with Aquarius being in your 12th house, the Aquarius, being in your 12th house, and the eclipse on there, remember, something is going to change. You're going to be letting go of something. There's going to be ending of old karma. There's going to be completions. There could be crisis and chaos, right? And there could be some anger and frustration because we have Mars and we have the South Node. I'm sorry, I was very ill and I lost my voice, and so I'm just getting it back. So if I have to cough, take a drink, please excuse me. So we have it conjuncting Mars and the South Node. So here's the North Node. This is where the solar eclipse is going to happen, and we have it opposing. So this is the South Node. The South Node is always opposite of the North Node at 5 degrees, so it's conjunct, which means they're speaking together. So the Moon, Mars, and the South Node are speaking together, all trying to get you through this, all trying to help you understand. Now, if you're having some frustration, if you're having some anger, if you just can't see it during this time, from the 24th, 25th, 26th, you may be dreaming very vividly, and some things may be coming up, some old things, maybe even some past life things may be coming up in your dreams. And you, Piscean, are very, very esoteric. You're very connected to the other worlds. You're very connected to the other side. You're very connected to the universe. So, especially when you go to sleep, you could be really working through some things, right? And so, because this is the thing, you may not have to work through those things in the physical. You may just need to work through those things and process those things through your brain and while you're sleeping, right? So just allow yourself, if you have any questions, if you're feeling frustrated, if you can't see, if you're like, I just can't see this issue and I can't figure it out, right? Ask the question before you go to bed. Ask your guides to help you. Ask your loved ones to help you. Ask Source, ask Oneness to help you, to see it clearly, to help you remember, to help you understand, to give you some peace, right? To help you grow forth in what you wanted to do. So, with that being said, that's all conjunct. So they're all working together. Now, it's squaring Uranus. And Uranus, here you are, Pisces, so Uranus is in your second house. So there's something about this old karma, these completions, these endings, this figuring out, this missing stuff coming forward, this completions of something, processing of your past lives, anger and unresolved issues being processed. There's something about your second house and your 12th house. The third house. So the third house, I said your second, I apologize. The third house, which is Uranus, and it's in Taurus. Remember, it's got to behave in a very Taurian way because it's got to behave like the ruler's house, right? It's trying to bring forth grounding. It's trying to bring forth stability in this area of your life. So what's the third house about? So the third house is about communication, but more than that, the third house is about your friends and your neighbors and your siblings and relatives and acquaintances, right? It could also be about if you work in like video editing, or you have a lot of paperwork, or maybe you're administrative, uh, you deal with a lot of documents, or maybe short travel, transportation, any of that. Uranus is there, and it's squaring this Mars, and it's squaring this South Node, it's squaring this lunar eclipse. So there could be some sort of shift. Remember, Uranus will shift you. It will come in and it will move things, but this is to liberate you, right? It likes to shock and awe you. So there could be with this square, they're basically, a square is when these two points or aspects are trying to get you to the same place. They're just not doing a very good job communicating to each other, right? And so there's something about either your neighbor, your relatives, your siblings, your acquaintances, where you're working, the type of work that you do, maybe short travel. There's something about that and this lunar eclipse that you're going to need to either let go of, process, understand, complete, right? But if you don't do it, Uranus will shift you, because it's here to shift you, to liberate you, but more so, you're trying to make room for this abundance that's coming in for your solar eclipse. You're trying to make room in your energetic field of not having to carry these past life issues, these issues when you were a child that you haven't let go of, these issues when you were with the of the love of your life and you haven't let go of. Like these issues, it's time to complete these, and this is what you'll be working on. And this is all on it starts on the 27th, probably for you guys. Before then, 24th, 25th is when you're probably going to start feeling like you can't sleep, or you're sleeping very lightly, or you're dreaming very vividly. That's when that house gets really activated. So around that time. Now, the lunar eclipse can be with us from 3 to 5 months. The solar eclipse can be with us from 6 months, even up to a year. Okay, so it will unfold as it needs to unfold in your life, right? So will things happen right on the 27th? For some of you, maybe, but for others of you, it may happen in a couple weeks. It may happen next week. Or the next week. It may happen in a couple days later. It may happen a month later. Like, it kind of depends on your chart, where you're at, and what you're doing. I can always go over the chart with you. I'll have where you can order a session with me up here on the side of the video. So, that's about the lunar eclipse. Now, Jupiter is now direct. I wanted to talk about that. So Jupiter is now direct. Jupiter is trying to expand this house for you, right? And so if this is you, this is your 12th, 11th, 10th, 9th. So it's really trying to help you. The 9th house is about your belief systems, your understanding, what's really going on, how that, what it is that you believe in, and what it is that you're understanding, right? So that's all 9th house issues. But more so, let me look at this 9th house. Because your 7th, 8th, and 9th is what's really going on. Okay? So the 9th house is about your belief systems. It's about higher knowledge. It's about the law, education. It could be foreign travel, long distance travel, or you could be dealing with people from long distance, right? It could be your mentors or your teachers or your gurus, right? But it also has to do with astrology, the mystical, the spiritual, and it could have to do with legal issues, right? And so this 9th house with Jupiter had been retrograde in here, so you were amending, you were reevaluating, you were fixing, you were trying to figure it out, right? And now that it's gone direct, now is the time where Jupiter actually gets to expand and bring those gifts in of those things that you've been working on in this house. Okay, so from now till November, so I think it's like November 8th. Yeah, November 8th is when it goes back retrograde. So from now until, we'll say, late October is when you'll really be feeling the benefits of Jupiter bringing you the gifts, right? And so that's what's going on with Jupiter. Then Venus has moved into Virgo. So Venus, the planet of love, luck, and money, If this is your ninth, this is your eighth, and this is your seventh. This is all about relationships, all about your boundaries. Venus wants to bring you love, luck, and money, right? But it's about your boundaries. You have Neptune in here. So you're at your most beautiful right now. The Piscean and Neptune, that energy is just gorgeous. You can't, it's almost like it's your birthday. You can't go wrong. It's like when the sun comes in your house. You're looking beautiful, but you can tend to see things in an askewed way, right? And so when Venus comes in here in your seventh house, this is about your boundaries. Because you have Neptune here, just be very aware. Take a second look at the way that people are treating you. Take a second look at how you're treating people. Maybe there could be some miscommunication because we do have Mercury going retrograde. But if you've set your boundaries, if you know what you want, if you're dealing with the people around you in the way that you're wanting to, then Venus will bring you love, luck, or money in this house, okay? It can bring it in the seventh house. It can absolutely bring your partner in the seventh house, right? If you've been working on all of this, if you're ready for your partner, it can bring that to you, okay? It's just one chance, one of the many chances that you might meet somebody. Also, if you've been working on something very hard, the money could come through for that. Or you could be in the right place at the right time. You meet the right person. You can meet very influential people when you have Venus in your seventh house. So be very aware of the people you meet. That's why I said take a second look, because they can be very influential. They can be helping you move forward on your path to a higher plane, like a more abundant plane, right? And so then Mercury goes retrograde on July. So that was the 27th. But on the 26th, Mercury is when Mercury actually goes retrograde. We're in shadow now. So on the 26th, that's this next week. This next week is going to be a doozy. So we've got Mercury going retrograde, and this is in your sixth house. So Mercury in your sixth house could mean some miscommunication with people. So be very, very careful. This is where you're allowed to, so where the 12th house is about those things on your path coming to you, the hidden being brought to you, like it's about your subconscious. The sixth house is about the conscious things that you see, the issues that you see that you need to fix, right? The everyday life that you see, the changing the issues. This is where you can make the change, right? From your higher self. So the sixth house is about the conscious awareness of the issues, and you can make the changes, or you can make the choice to make the changes. And so it can be about debt and health issues in your lifestyle. And open enemies are in here. When Mercury is retrograde, there's going to be miscommunication. There's going to be some mess ups with this Leo in here. So you may think that you're doing, something very kindly, or you may think that you had the best interest of somebody, but they may have taken it wrong. That can happen when Mercury is retrograde in this house for you. Okay, so Mercury will be retrograde until August 6th. August 19th. I don't know where I got August 6th from. So it's going to go retrograde. You'll be dealing with that. But you have the solar eclipse in here too. So I'm going to go more over about what this house includes. And so that's what's going to be going on for July. Yeah. Let's look at August. So from like August 1st till I want to say it's like the 15th. Let me look at this real quick. Is it the 15th? Yeah. It's about the 15th. Yeah. So listen, from August 1st to the 15th, you have these two squares in August that are really wanting me to talk about it. So I don't want to say they're concerning. I just want to say that there's some push and pull that's going to be happening in August for you guys. So from the 1st through the 15th, you have Mars square Uranus. Okay, so Mars is going to square Uranus. So again, Mars is going to be in your 12th house. This is endings. This is completion. This is, and remember, retrogrades have to do with amending, fixing, reevaluating, adjusting, right? And really thinking about what you want to do. So maybe some things got very clear in this lunar eclipse. Maybe you completed some things. And so Uranus, with Uranus and Mars squaring, Uranus likes to shift. Uranus likes to shock and awe. And Mars is the god of war. So Mars is just going to do what Mars wants to do. Like, he's very, you got to like force him to focus. And so they're both trying to do something in this 3rd and 12th house. And with this square, you could be, whatever was going on before the lunar eclipse, like in this next week, whatever's been going on, you could still feel the remnants of that or still be dealing with that until about the 15th. And then Mars is going to go direct, but you've got this square, not just this square that's making me look, but this square, the Saturn and Chiron. So Chiron is in your 2nd house in Aries. Aries is all about making the money. Aries is all about getting your finances. Aries is all about, when Aries is serious about their finances, they can make it very stable. They can make money come out of nowhere. They can do that. They just have to have the passion and want to do it, right? So with Chiron being in there in your Aries in your 2nd house, about your value of system, about what you value, about how you put value to yourself, about your finances, and Chiron in there, there's an old wound. And because we're talking about the lunar eclipse and completions of these things, and this square going on with Saturn in your 11th house of groups, 11th house of social networking, 11th house that supports your 10th house of career. So there's something here and there's something here that could be shifting either your career, your life purpose, the way that you accrue money, the way that you spend money, the way that you have money, the way that you make money. There's something about this with this Chiron. Remember, Chiron is about the old wounds. So if you've let go, if you've processed, if you've completed, then if you've learned the value, if you understand what it is that how you can help people do this better, and in that you become better. This square with Saturn wants to make you work hard. There's something about groups, there's something about the network, there's something about your career that's really going to be shifting. That's really going to be like, I don't see this as a bad thing. I see this as, if it was before the lunar eclipse, I would say that, okay, something's like, you really got to watch out for something. But I see this more as you're growing into this and letting go and having room for the hard work that you've done with your networking, with your groups, with understanding who you are and what you want, with understanding your boundaries and what it is that you're going to allow, right? And so just be aware that those two things, you may feel a little tension because of those two squares from like the 1st to the 15th. It's not going to be harsh the whole time, but Mars is a harsh energy, and Uranus can just come in and like swoop things up and shift it. So you could find yourself like, oh my God, I went the whole other way that I didn't think it was going to go, right? And so that's going to be going on from the 1st to the 15th. Now, on the 7th of August, Libra moves into, sorry about that. Libra moves into, Venus moves into Libra. And that is, I'm sorry, I got a cough and I'm trying not to cough. 12, 11, 10, 9, 8. So that's in your 8th house, which I love Venus in the 8th house for you. Because Venus in the 8th house, with Uranus squaring, with this Chiron and this Saturn, with Mars really having the energy, Venus, all Venus wants to do is bring you love, luck, and money, right? And in the 8th house, love, luck, and money could be inheritances, that loan, that car, that house, that other people's money. So you could, when in this month, when Venus goes in here, releasing these things, having room in your energetic field to receive your abundance, could be receiving word of some inheritance, of some money that maybe was owed to you and you forgot, of somebody maybe coming to you as a partner and wanting to invest in your company or invest in your brand or invest in you. Like, something is going on here with this being in your 8th house. So look for that. That's on the 7th. Now on the 11th, and this is going to be going on all month, but it's going to start on the 7th. And so all month, especially with these squares, as you're releasing, as this solar eclipse comes in, like there could be a real big shift with your 2nd house having Chiron. There is this, opposition of, why is it always happening to me? Every time I try to do something, it doesn't work. Da 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 da. But then understanding, you know what? Maybe in the beginning it never works out, but then eventually it always comes through. And so maybe I just need to relax. There's something about this and this opposing that you can, but this Uranus is what I'm like, you could get some money. Things could go a very different way than you thought it was going to go. Maybe sometimes, most times, you didn't get exactly what you wanted, but later on something came in. Maybe it actually all comes in this time. There's something about this. Your money, other people's money. Your money, other people's money. Right? And the shared value of that. Okay? So that's on the 11th. 7th, sorry. Now, on the 11th, this is the solar eclipse. So remember, the solar eclipse wants to bring you something. It wants to give you something. It wants to give you something that you want to experience on your path. These desires that you have in your heart. That's what this shift is. That's what this eclipse is about, right? And so these are new beginnings for you. This could be a strong passion about something, transformation. And the North Node is going to give through a crisis. So maybe you're thinking you're not going to get this. Or maybe these people stop talking to you. Maybe you have these squares and you just feel like it's not going to go your way. But you get this, like, you have trust, you have belief, you do the work, you let go of the energy, you let go of past life stuff, you process, and you have room. And all of a sudden, this solar eclipse comes in and just, bam, changes everything. Like, it really changes everything. So this solar eclipse in Leo, Leo likes to shine, Leo likes to be the leader, Leo can make money, Leo can make things happen, Leo can do that, right? With this solar eclipse and the North Node in it, and this being in your 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th house, that's what I wanted to talk about. So the 6th house is the things that you're consciously aware that you could make changes to, right? Now, before I say any of this, I forgot to say, all of these energies are here to help you. They're here to give you the push. They're here to give you the pull. They're here to put you in a help you put you in a vibration. To help you vibrate at a certain frequency. They're here to help. That's what these energies are all around. These stars, these planets, this universe, right? They're here to help. But it is always up to you to decide whether you want to engage in this or not. It is always a choice. So you can choose to ignore some of these issues. You can choose to not do the work and wait for the next cycle to come around. Or you can choose, I'm going to go in deep. I'm going to have courage. I'm going to let go. Like, I'm going to do what I need to do on my path. If that means I tear down, I break down, whatever that means, I'm going to go through it. Like, we always have a choice. So, that being said, making those choices to let go, giving room in your energetic field. And I know talking about this makes it easy. It's not easy. These are emotions. These are trauma. These are things that we're dealing with, right? And so I may make it sound very easy, but I understand that it's not. So with the solar eclipse in Leo, it's going to bring you something. And the North Node and Mercury retrograding. Mercury retrograding means that you're amending, you're fixing, you're changing. This is your conscious awareness, daily activity. So maybe your health completely changes. Maybe your lifestyle completely changes. Like, something in here is gonna really, really change, right? The 6th house is about debt. Maybe your debt's paid off, completions of some sort. Maybe your health issues. Maybe an enemy is brought to you and it's resolved. This is where dispute, diseases, wellness, nutrition, litigation, divorce, service to others. This is where this all comes about. This is this house, right? This also could have to do with your younger siblings or family investment. Now, the family investment and this Chiron in your second house and this Venus over here in Libra and this Mars and this South Node and this, like, all of this tells me that some of you are going to be receiving some monies, some inheritances, some insurances, some sort of money, some sort of property, some sort of something, some sort of investment that you've been working on. Or some of you haven't even worked on it at all. Some of you don't even know it's coming. So that's what's going to be going on the 11th, okay? So remember, will it all happen on that day? No. We have 6 months to a year. So depending on where your chart is, how it's placed, where you're at. When I look at these charts, I'm looking at Pisces ascending, but you can look at it from your sun. So you can look at it from Pisces sun or Pisces moon. I'm looking at it from your ascending. I like to look at things from the ascending or the rising because those are the fate, the destiny, the things that are on your path. That's why I look at it that way. Now, on the 13th, we have Mars entering Capricorn. So Mars enters Capricorn in your 11th house of networking. So this 11th house is a big house for you right now. This 11th house has to do with not just social networking, but it supports your 10th house. And you've been working really hard in this house because Saturn's in there. And Mars had been in there, right? And Pluto's in there. And so it's trying to bring stability in your friendships, in your networking, in your career. That's what it's been trying to do for you, right? And so the 11th house rules organizations and friends and groups. It also rules intellectual people. And remember what I said, that you can have very influential people coming up in your life here? And by influential people, it could be the lawyer that hands you the inheritance check. Like, it could be that. Like, I'm telling you, these are influential people. That's what I'm seeing in this house. This is money from your career that comes through here, right? So, your dreams, your wishes, your hopes and dreams. That's the house of hopes and dreams. But more so, it's about, your networking. And so, when Mars goes retrograde, whatever you've been working on, processing through, getting clarity on, understanding that I do want to do this and I do want to go here and I know the steps to take now and I know which actions to do and I'm very clear about that. Like when Mars enters Capricorn, it's going to behave very differently. That's when it's in Aquarius. In Capricorn, it's going to be very stable. In Capricorn, it's going to be methodical. In Capricorn, it's going to know, it's like the soldier that knows exactly what to do, right? So Mars goes in here. Well, as Mars gets closer to Pluto, it's going to transform you in this area. So this house is very lit up for you. When Mars comes in here, you could have like resolution to some jealousy issues, resolutions to some friends that weren't nice to you, resolution to some scandal, resolutions to know who your friends really are, right? When Saturn's in here, you could feel like you don't have a lot of friends at this time, but it's because the friends that you're going to have are going to be lifelong. That's what Saturn's about. It's that slow moving, very methodical. You're really, really trying to weed out the networking, the people that are around you, the people, getting to understand or coming to a place where you understand the type of people, knowing who you want around you, who's going to help, who's not going to help, who you can help, who you don't want to help. And then when Pluto's in here, you could have had some controlling friends because it's retrograde now, so you've been really working on your boundary and allowing people to control you and knowing where that boundary is and asking for what you want and not just letting people assume that that they know what you want. Again, with your third house and Uranus, right? Being vocal about you. But when Pluto's in here, with Pluto in here, with Venus in here, Pluto could have very powerful people coming into your life in here. And as Mars gets close to Pluto, you could have that happen. This tells me these three things, 3 or 4 things, are telling me that y'all got some very influential people around you or about to come into your life. So that's a major, major thing for you guys. I'll leave it at that. So on the 16th, Venus is going to sextile Mercury. So with Venus sextiling Mercury in your 8th house, again, if you've been communicating, if you've been learning your boundaries, if things have happened to you and you had something come up, whatever this change was, or comes up with this solar eclipse, you have an opportunity here. Remember, sextiles are opportunity to receive love, luck, and money, to make this go forth from your 6th house to your 8th house. Maybe shared resources, maybe a new business partner. Something comes in, or some partnership comes in to sort of help you in this way. Okay? Everybody's different. Everybody's on a different timeline. And I can only tell you the general energies. You'd have to come see me so I can look at your chart specifically. But also, you have this Pluto and Jupiter, right? And it's a light sextile. So it's like the 16th, 17th. Yeah. So Jupiter and Pluto. Again, understanding your friendships, understanding the people around you, very influential people coming around you, your life really changing. And this is your 9th house of belief systems. Like, for some of you, maybe your heart's been broken so much that you just don't believe anymore. And maybe you're really trying to find the belief system for you. Maybe you're like, I know what I know to be true, but I can't believe it because all I've been shown is heartache. All I've been shown is betrayal. All I've been shown is people running out. Been shown as that. And maybe you've been really, really working on this. Maybe you come to an understanding of why that happened. What happened with that? From your 12th house. Old karma, past life issues. You don't have to do that anymore. And maybe when this comes about, maybe this transformation is about, maybe the universe, maybe God, oneness, source, your higher self, maybe they just want to show you that there still are good people in this world, that there still are loving people that won't leave, that there still are people that mean what they say. You just had to vibrate at that, right? You just had to come to terms and understand all of that. Maybe that could be happening with the sextile. But this sextile and this sextile, especially with this influential people, you could have some really good people coming into your life right now. Or I would say over in the next 6 months. So, last 2 things on the 24th or 25th. You know, I could be a day off for some of you because it depends on where you are in the world. The sun enters Virgo, so it is Virgo season. So happy birthday to the Virgos. And this is going to be in your 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So the sun is coming in here to give you clarity. Right now you're wanting a very stable, honest, loving, caring relationships, right? That's what you're trying to understand. That's what you're trying, with Virgo in here, that's what you're trying to understand. You know it's there. You know it's going to come. When the sun comes in here, it's going to light up this house. It's going to shine on it. It's going to give you clarity. It wants to align you. So you could have some very good people coming in at this time. So on the 26th, we have the full moon in your sign. So definitely with this lunar eclipse, letting go, understanding with Chiron, with your Uranus, with Pluto, with Mars, with Saturn, with Venus, with your North Node and your South Node, all of this happening, all of this letting go, with this full moon in your sign, in your first house, and Neptune there, it's going to help you further clear and let go and understand so that you can have that world, those hopes and dreams, the world that you see, the one that you're trying to create. With this in your first house, there could be some other layers of you letting go. But I feel like a lot of you will have let go during that lunar eclipse or the week after during that, or the weeks after during that. You'll be letting go. So when the full moon happens in your house, there's destiny, fate, manifestations coming through. That's what I see for your full moon. And this is in your first house, your identity, why you came, what you came here to be, how you came here to look, how you came here to act. Like all of that, that's your first house. So, congratulations. And not just that, but you have this grand trine happening. This grand trine that you've been working on, this Saturn, this Uranus, the Sun, it's going to bring you clarity. Grand trines are about divinely guided gifts being brought to you with this moon, with all this clearing. I'm so very proud of you guys. And then on the 28th, Mars goes direct. So that thing that you've been working on, it's finally going to start happening. You're going to start finally seeing some things come through. Some people act the way they're supposed to. Your networking growing. The project that maybe you were working really hard on, you couldn't figure out. You got some clarity. You processed that. Mars came in here. Now it's direct. Now it's going to start giving you and giving you and giving you as it gets closer to Pluto and transform you. Okay? In your career, in your groups, in your understanding about groups and relationships and people around you and how you want your life. Right? So, congratulations. Thank you so very much for watching me. For those of you that have like one question about how's my day going to go, or what's the best aspect for my day today, or I want to know what this part is or this part is. If you have like one question or two questions, I've teamed up with Instant Go. I'll leave the link in the description box below. Anything I've talked about, the full moon energy, the new moon energy, I have videos about that. I'll also put that at the end of this video or in the links in the description box below. And a link in the description box below. So Instant Go, you can find me on Your Path 39. I'll have the link down below. It's an app that you use with your phone, your iPad. You can download it. You can now text me or a quick phone call, and I'll be available. I have a promo code. Use the word indigo and get the $5 off your first order. And I hope to see you there. Come look for me. I love you, love you, love you. Have a great and wonderful new life. Like, you've got a lot of changes. New life. Love you, love you, love you. Bye.